Shalom Aleichem, welcome to Machan Leira Online Smicha. You ask a person in the street, "What are you, a chosid?" He automatically responds, "Yes, a babava, a munkacha, chabad, whatever." The term chosid is not a term that necessarily connected to chasidus as we know it from the time of the Baal Shem Tov. We find it already much earlier. Chazal tell us, "Ma Kodesh Baruch Hu Nikra Chosid," just like we find the title Chosid referring to Hashem, as we say every day in davening, "V'chosid b'chol ma'asav." So too, each one of us should be a chosid. So, what does the title chosid mean back then? And it's interesting to note that when the Baal Shem Tov started his movement, and the students originally their name wasn't even Hasidim, because it happens to be kind of funny. The movement of Hasidus came much later, and what turns around is that the Hasidus became Hasidim, and the ones who were before are there to call the ones opposing the Misnagdim. So that's a talk for itself. But the Chosid, as we find it in Halacha, is way before. I think Chazal even say Adam Arishin was called the Chosid, but the Eibishter is called the Chosid b'chol Masav. What does that pasuk mean when it says the Eibishter is the Chosid? That the Eibishter responds to us is Oisel Lefnim Min Ashura. He goes above and beyond the letter of the law. In other words, maybe you deserve it, maybe he doesn't deserve, you don't deserve, but he gives it to you. So too, when a Yid has to react, a Yid has to connect to Hashem, also do a bit above and beyond. Be a Chosid Oisel Lefnim Meshiras Adin. We find throughout Shas, Chasidim Arishonim did this and this and this. Chasidim Zrizim Heim B'mitzvahs U'machmir Ma'atzmam. We find many places in Shulchan Aruch where it says that if you're a Chosid, you do Lefnim Meshuras Adin. The Gemara says, "Haroitza liyos Chosid," whoever wants to acquire the title of a Chosid, Yekayim milid in the Zikim. He should fulfill the inyanim that are mentioned in the Zikim. What are the milid in the Zikim? So the Mefarshim say, for example, it says the Chasidim Harishonim, when they had glass, broken pieces of glass, or thorns, things that could hurt somebody, they would dig deep underground and bury it there to make sure that even the person plowing with his machine wouldn't get stuck on these things that could break it. Or Yekayim milid in the Zikah means just make sure that you're clear in the three Babbas, Baba Kamba, Baba Basa, Baba Metzia, which all talk about in the Zikim, Gezel, Hashavas Aveda, Ribis, they're all mentioned in these Mesechtas. The Rava says, you want to be a Chosid, do milid the Avis. Fulfill what says in Avis. In Avis is a couple places where it says, if you do this, you're a Chosid. For example, it says, Ha'imar Shali Shalach V'Shalach Shalach Chosid. So live your life that way, you'll be called a Chosid. And the third opinion says, B'kayim milid de brachas. Be careful of brachas. Over there, we also find the term Chasidim HaRishonim. Before they would daven, before they would say the Eibishter's name, they would wait and have proper kavanah. So these are the things that either it's a Chosid or Oisel Lefnim Meshuras Adin in general, but then the Gemara goes on to say clearly what a Chosid should do. Now, there is, in davening we say, in Shemir Esra, Ala Tzadikim V'Ala Chasidim. So over here, because it says Tzadikim and Chasidim, some believe that Tzadikim, this is a conversation in Rishonim, because some believe that a Chasid is only somebody who all his life was a Chasid. He didn't become a Chasid. As it's mentioned about Simchas Beis HaShe'eva, it says, Ashrei, who praises the one who gave birth to us, and praises the one who was born that didn't embarrass his parents, didn't embarrass his elders ever. So some say that's a raya that since Chasidim v'Anshe Ma'aseh would say that, so a Chasid is somebody who never made a left turn. However, others prove from the fact that we say Ala Tzadikim v'Ala Chasidim, so we see that a Tzadik is obvious somebody who is a Tzadik. A Chasid is even somebody who became a Chasid. He actually had his downfalls, but he overcame them and he did Shuvah. He could still be titled a Chasid. Now, how does one become a Chasid? because we see that even in Chazal, even there are certain Chasidim that the Chazal call them a chosid shoita, a fool. For example, the Gemara talks about if a woman is drowning in the water and the guy says, "Oh, I'm not getting involved with that because I'm a chosid and I don't touch women," that's a fool, chosid shoita. Or if somebody says, "I'm not going to jump into the water because I'm wearing tefillin," and tefillin is going to get ruined while at the same time it's pekuach nefesh, that's a chosid shoita. So what is the real way of accomplishing chassidus? So the Mishnah says, Loi ama aretz chassid. And it's brought in the end of Masechta Soita that only through learning Torah, the more and more you learn Torah, you could acquire the level of chassidus.